I mean, it kind of happened to me. Not nearly as bad.
I didn't know if we were gonna
that we were gonna do.
Well,
I mentioned it in my breakdown of just like I also have hearing loss.
Yeah, I don't even know that much about it other than a few years ago. You got how long ago was it?
3 years ago.
Yeah,
that I was officially like diagnosed.
What were you officially diagnosed with? Because obviously you're not
I don't
deaf.
know if there's like a for real medical term for it. I had something like, if your ears are supposed to work at 100%, mine worked at like 75%.
Right.
So I don't have it as bad as Ruben. Like even in the beginning when he can still hear so much, they say it's like 24% on both ears. So I don't have it nearly as bad as Ruben. Also, I believe like me and him kind of have different types of hearing loss.
Yeah.
Because when you're...
Is that part of the reason you wanted to do this?
Part of the reason why I wanted to do this. Also,
wondering.
just like I like Riz Ahmed. When I first watched this, I watched this with my roommate, and that kind of muffled hearing... when Ruben starts to go deaf, my roommate Gabby asked me like if that was how I heard, and the answer is no.
Right.
That's not how I hear. I didn't realize I had hearing loss until a doctor told me.
How did you even think to have that test done then? Because you've been wearing hearing aids for like every day for years.
I had really bad tinnitus.
Oh, yeah.
So my ears, when I don't have my hearing aids in, is a constant buzzing. It's still constant, even though I have them in, but it's not like drowning everything out. If I don't have my hearing aids in, it's like basically all I could hear is the buzzing. And it's drowning everything out. And
it's so weird that you got that instead of me.
Yeah. It is
Which
weird.
makes no sense. Because, I mean, I have low-level tinnitus. Like, and one of the things that I love about the movie is how the sound, the mixing, like, whoever did that should win some type of award.
Well, he just won the Oscar for Best Sound.
There you go.
Yeah.
That tinnitus sound, I do have that. And it comes but it comes and goes. Sometimes I'll just out of nowhere get, like, the super high pitch. But it's weird. I've been around drums and Marshall stacks my entire life and, giant subwoofers my entire life. And you're the one who ended up with that. It's like so weird. So obviously, like, did the doctor tell you there was an event that...
No.
So break that down.
Here's what happened. For maybe all of high school, it was like how you're describing. Mm-hmm. It would come in and be high-pitched and then go away.
Yeah.
And then one day, the high-pitched tinnitus kind of came in, and then it never went away. It was for every second of every day I was just hearing this constant tinnitus, this constant ring. And it was driving me insane. And I went to a couple of doctors who I won't say any of the doctors' names, but some hearing and tinnitus people who I was not a fan of, who kept telling me that eventually it will go away and that eventually I'll just stop noticing it. And that never happened.
Yeah.
And it never even occurred to me that maybe I had hearing loss. I had trouble understanding people because the ringing was so loud. And I thought the reason why I had trouble understanding people when they spoke to me was just because like the ringing's drowning everything out. And then I went to a center that it wasn't like an ENT. It was specifically for tinnitus. And the first thing they did was kind of give me a hearing test. And that's when they said, you're not so much like, it's not hearing loss in the typical way. It's your ears can't hear certain frequencies. There are certain like higher pitch frequencies that specifically for like when someone's speaking, because naturally human beings speak in kind of like a higher pitch.
Then what?
What do you mean?
A higher pitch than what?
Just like higher on like the spectrum of like, if you consider like high to low frequencies, human beings typically speak in the higher frequencies.
Okay.
And those specifically were the frequencies that I either wasn't hearing at all or I was partially hearing. And they're like, that's a lot of the reason why once you can't understand when people are speaking with you. And that's also where the tinnitus comes from. Because basically that ringing in your ear is your ears trying to make up for the sounds that it can't hear. So when you just play a show and like say you don't wear your ear protection,
you're like 99.9%
you
of
get
shows.
Ringing in your ear afterwards because all the loud noises kind of drum out those high frequencies and you're unable to hear them for at least the time being.
Right.
So you get the ringing in your ear. That's your ears making up for the frequencies.
Dude,
you
I'm
can't
like
hear.
fucking have a physical reaction to this conversation. Like this is like not making me comfortable at all.
Yeah,
dude. I mean, this movie was fucking traumatic. Like, you're the one who actually has hearing loss, so I shouldn't be fucking complaining.
Well,
but
it's something that
it's like, damn, dude. Like, that's bad. It's fucking bad.
So there are a lot of things in this movie I specifically relate to. Mm-hmm. The thing with like, because I noticed it more now that like now it's occurred to me just like, oh, other people can hear better than I can.
Well, it's not something you think about.
It's not something. It's not something I thought about. It never occurred to me that I had
I'm saying
hearing loss.
Even now that you like, I mean, I guess there's a certain point a day where you put on your hearing aids for the first time during the day. And like at that moment. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just like brushing your teeth now. You don't even think about it.
No, well, I don't notice them in anymore. Like I don't really notice I have them until I take them out, and I kind of take them out at night, and I kind of hear what the world sounds like through just my raw ears, and it's noticeably different. Yeah,
I mean, I guess is it like kind of having glasses and taking them on and off? Because I remember when I first got glasses,
it's not like that in a way.
It's obviously not the same thing, but
because in a way it's louder with my hearing aids out because I take them out and then the ringing is just overpowering everything.
Oh, damn.
And here's the thing: even when I have them in, the buzzing is still there, but the buzzing is at a point where I can forget about it. If they're not in, I can't forget about it. It's all I'm thinking about.
What the fuck caused that?
So the doctor says it could be genetic. It could be from exposure. I was saying like, well, I played music all throughout high school and I was kind of like allowed around drums and amplifiers. Do you think that had to do with it?
No, you did. I'm not trying to take away your experience, but let's be honest. Like that was a fraction of the amount of time that I spent around music.
Right, exactly.
So like how...
But they also said like with hearing and hearing loss, it's impossible to track it to one thing. It's impossible to track it to one
like
thing.
The experience might not...
and it could have been a factor of things.
Yeah. But even like you and I could have the same experience and it could affect you differently than
I guess.
My point is I don't know that I don't know the science behind it. That might not be a correlation at all.
There was another I don't know how true this is, but there was like some study recently that also people who have ADD that there was a correlation between that and hearing loss. And I also have ADD. So maybe that had something to do with it also. Maybe that was a factor.
All right, I'm not trying to get crazy here. Is ADD real?
Yes, I think. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I heard that like ADD in the 90s. I'm not trying to be like, I heard something on the internet.
I don't know.
But like, is it a real thing? Like children, or is it the pharmaceutical industry creating a lane for themselves?
I don't know.
The answer is probably both.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know how much like Big Pharma had to play in ADD. All I know is when I was a kid, I could not concentrate on one thing for more than like 5 seconds. And then I started...
That is not true. You used to build giant...
No, that's 100% true.
Dude,
when
are
I
you
was
out of your
sitting
mind?
in class, I was not able to concentrate
you just said
on
it.
one
You just
thing.
said, what did you just say, though, when you're sitting in class?
Yeah.
Because you're a kid. You don't want to be sitting in class. When you were like writing your own movies when you were fucking 10 and building Legos, my point is the conspiracy would be that they're fucking planting the seeds in the parents that, oh, there's something wrong with your child. Don't fucking smirk. I'm just saying.
I remember having this exact conversation when I was little with Mom. I said that I think I used the words like, I feel like someone keeps changing the channel in my head.
Whoa.
Yes. Because you know how you try to you try to concentrate on
some deep shit.
You try to concentrate on one thing and then quickly your brain flips to another thing. And you can't keep concentrating on the same thing for too long. And it felt like there was a remote control and they kept changing the channel. That's how like I kind of thought of it when I was a kid.
It's also true, though, that you had very, very intense interests in things outside of school. That's also true.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like...
I don't know how... I mean, I don't know. I didn't want this to be a conversation on ADD because I don't really know much about it.
Well, also, you haven't been medicated for it. Like, you were medicated for it for, like, maybe a couple of years.
I was medicated for it. I think I stopped in, like, 9th grade. Like, first year of high school. Yeah, was when I stopped. But anyway,
there might be a correlation between that and hearing loss.
Between that and hearing loss is what they're saying.
It's crazy that they can't give you an answer.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
It is crazy.